Good evening. Welcome to Current Affairs. So today we'll discuss some more points. The first point is related to who is government in Delhi. What is the meaning of this? First of all, Delhi is a union territory. Over a period of time, it has been renamed as National Capital Territory of Delhi. So there is an assembly and there is a chief minister. But above that, you have a position called Lieutenant Governor. And with respect to any union territory, the powers are vested with the lieutenant governors. In reality, all the powers are exercised by the President of India through lieutenant governor. But when it comes to Delhi, what exactly is this? For the purpose of better administration, legislature has been created and Council of Ministers headed by a chief minister has been created. It happened only in two union territories in India, one being Delhi and other being Pondicherry or Puducherry. But though there is a chief minister, unlike the chief ministers of other states, the powers have been very much restricted with respect to the chief minister of Delhi. So, meaning more powers are there in the hands of the central government. That's the reason why, for a quite long period of time, there is a demand in from various political parties who are heading the governments in Delhi that Delhi should be given separate statehood. Right? It should be no more national capital territory and it should be made the so-called a separate state. So that what will happen, it can also enjoy the rights like any other state in India. So, and especially when Aam Aadmi Party came to the power with lots of hopes, so there is an expected this changes that will take place in the administration. But since beginning, Arvind Kejriwal government and especially Arvind Kejriwal himself, he's demanding that separate statehood has to be provided to Delhi so that we can rule ourselves. But central government is not accepting for that. That is the reason why, since beginning, if you look at this, there is a tussle between the government and the lieutenant governor. And everything has to be accepted by the President of India through the so-called the lieutenant governors. Certain important decisions will be taken by the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. This is the place where exactly the Union Home Ministry will come into the picture, and finally the nod has to be given by the President. So there is a lots of tussle is going on, and Arvind Kejriwal says that he wants to do so many things, but he is not in a position to do because there are no powers. But even then, what is happening is that adamantly the Arvind Kejriwal government is going ahead. The Arvind Kejriwal government is going ahead, issuing various orders, and a case has been filed in the so-called the High Court of Delhi, and High Court made it very very clear that ultimate powers will be vested with the so-called the lieutenant governor. Without the permission of the lieutenant governor, the government cannot do anything in Delhi. Meaning the powers of the Delhi government have been restricted once again by the High Court of Delhi. And recently, so there is a lots of rain and water logging in Delhi. You might have seen. So because of this water logging, so a public interest litigation has been filed in Delhi High Court. And the court has summoned the Chief Minister, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. And Arvind Kejriwal says that when all the powers are vested with the Lieutenant Governor or so-called the LG, why are you calling the so-called the Chief Minister? Meaning is simple, according to him, the powers are at one place and the responsible people are one. This is again an argument that will lead to lots of disputes. So that is the reason why I'm not just talking about Delhi, but there are so many areas that are present in the country where there is a tussle between the central government and the so-called the state governments or the so-called the government at national capital. Right. For example, here yesterday also I was talking about this. With respect to this special category status 2, the so-called Andhra Pradesh. So now there is a resentment in Andhra Pradesh. So these are all the various issues that are present, throughout the country. And look at Jammu and Kashmir, what is happening. Clear, and look at this Kaveri water river disputes between the so-called this Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So like this, the tussle will happen, and the problem is that the people will also involve in this, and of course that is related to the so-called the emotions. And that is the reason why the beauty of the governance lies where there is a proper establishment of the peace. And unfortunately, look at this, for quite long period of time, lots of violence is happening in Jammu and Kashmir. What the government has done, government is doing something, but that is not enough. Right? How long you will wait, and how many lives of the Indians so we should lose? That's the reason why every aspect has to be addressed by the government very, 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 very sensitively. That's the reason why government is not just a power, government is a responsibility. The people who are there in the power, they should feel the responsibility on their shoulders. And those responsibilities will keep on increasing day by day. That's the reason why whoever is the prime minister now and whoever is the prime minister in the future, they need to this carry on the responsibilities, lots of responsibilities, both externally and also internally. Right. So this is one point with respect to the so-called, this Delhi government's remarks over, this is summoning the chief minister of Delhi. And of course, the latest news in Delhi, it seems that there are tremors in Delhi, and hopefully all our friends who are there in Delhi, so they are, this, they must be safe, right? And so it's happening very frequently nowadays, right? So maybe in Uttar Pradesh, right? So maybe in Bihar, right? In Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. So this is, this too many tremors are happening now. So that is the reason why. So we need to be so careful now. So apart from this, there is another blow. There is another blow for Arvind Kejriwal government. And in one of the previous classes, if you remember, I was discussing with you with respect to the so-called parliamentary secretaries. In many states, the so-called the parliamentary secretaries are being appointed, and they are being given a status equal to that of a minister. But our constitution, after an amendment, we made it very, very clear that the strength of the ministers should not be more than 15%. The strength of the ministers at the central level should not be more than 15% of the so-called the lower house of the parliament. Similarly, the strength of the Council of Ministers, including Chief Minister at the state level, should not be more than 15% of the lower house of the state legislature, meaning the assembly. That is the reason why. So there is a restriction with respect to number of ministers at the state level and also at the central level. But if you look at the latest developments that are happening in at the state level, there are so many aspirants to become the so-called the ministers, and every MLA wants to become a minister, and every minister wants to become chief minister. But how is it possible? You cannot do this because there is a restriction. Because there is a restriction, and the number should not go beyond 15%. That is the reason why the people who are there in the government, they look for some alternative methods, and they will try to find out some loopholes that are present in the system. That's the reason why various governments in the country, various governments at the state level in the country, they are appointing some of the MLAs as parliamentary secretaries. And the concept of the parliamentary secretaries is nowhere mentioned in the constitution, right? So, but when you appoint somebody as the parliamentary secretaries, the respective governments are saying that this is just a status, but they are not enjoying any office of profits. And of course, different state governments will have different definitions with respect to office of profit, right? So, meaning is simple. So these MLAs are being appointed as the parliamentary secretaries, so that the government of the day, the chief minister of the day, they just wanted to elevate the status of these people with the respect to which should be equal to the so-called a minister, and they'll be enjoying all the amenities and facilities. And the government will argue that it is not an office of profits, and indirectly they are violating the constitution, and indirectly they are trying to exceed the limit of 15% that has been this put in by the constitution of India. Should it be acceptable? That's the reason why in various states it's happening, and opposition parties are moving the so-called the respect to high courts, and respect to high courts in almost all the states wherever the parliamentary secretaries have been appointed, and they have nullified that particular parliamentary secretaries, right? And the latest example, being this Telangana, it happened. And even Arvind Kejriwal government also appointed some of the MLAs as these parliamentary secretaries. 21 or 22 MLAs have been appointed, and yesterday what happened, that has been struck down by the so-called the Delhi High Court, saying that the orders have been issued by the government and there is no nod from LG, Lieutenant Governor. Obviously, that is considered to be, this unconstitutional act that was made by the so-called the Arvind Kejriwal government. That's the reason why it has been struck down. Fine. So now various cases are moving to the Supreme Court, and finally the Supreme Court is expected to give the verdict, and the verdict should be coming in favor of a system called a democratic system. That's what we are expecting. Clear? Meaning is simple. So this is a blow after blow on Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. And Arvind Kejriwal, so he has to be so careful. So when he came to the power, and the people in Delhi, and of course people in various states in the country, they were expecting so a remarkable development with respect to the cleanness, and that is present in Aam Aadmi Party. Out of 70, they won 67 seats in Delhi Assembly. Huge, absolutely huge. But within a short period of time, this maybe some of the ministers, clear, are some of the MLAs, they are being suspended, they are being removed on various charges. So, right, so that is the reason why the confidence of the people over this government will definitely come down. Come down. At the same time, the sharp tongue of Arvind Kejriwal is also giving some problems. You need to be so clear, so careful. Maybe Arvind Kejriwal on his own, so he's a very good person. There is no doubt about that one. But that intellectuality you must be used for the so-called the development of this Delhi, and is concentrating in on various state assemblies also. So where he wants to show the representation of the Aam Aadmi Party, nobody says no for that. But at the same time, wherever you are placed in the government, so you need to be, this in close ties with the central government. You are expected to understand your own powers, and whatever the powers that are given to you under the constitution, under those powers only, under those restrictions only, the government of Delhi is expected to act. Right? But unfortunately, more than governance, not just here, in all the states, more than governance, it is the so-called the political interests are dominating. It is very, very unfortunate, and that is against the principle of the democracy. Right? Now, just a moment. I'll be opening the document. Yes. So, who is government in Delhi? Delhi High Court once said it is Lieutenant Governor. And the court has summoned the Chief Minister for water logging. Now, I'm just leaving it to you. You need to think that the High Court says that LG is the government. And then how come it will ask the Chief Minister to do the job? When government is LG, how come it summons Chief Minister? Please think on this. So next, yeah, it's 21 MLAs. So the AAP government's order, Aam Aadmi Party government's order appointing 21 MLAs as parliamentary secretaries has been set aside by the Delhi High Court. The reason is that it lacked the approval of Lieutenant Governor. Next, here, sometimes it's a possible question for you. Just have a look at this. What is GSTN? During the discussion on goods and services tax, we have come across with this GSTN. Hopefully, you remember this. It stands for Goods and Services Tax Network. GST, you know already. N stands for network. This is the special purpose vehicle that was formed under the previous UPA regime, United Progressive Alliance regime, to set up the information technology framework for rolling out the indirect tax regime that will replace a string of local levies. Clear? So meaning the all the indirect taxes will be removed and we are going to implement the so-called this GST, right? And for this reason, you need to you require the information technology framework, and that is being done in the form of the GSTN. It's a special purpose vehicle. But what is this? So hopefully you must have heard these words: special purpose vehicle or SPV. It is primarily a business association of persons or entities eligible to participate in the association, and it is called the SPV. Okay, and with respect to this subject, the so-called GSTN is a special purpose vehicle. You must be knowing about this GSLV nicely has been launched, right, successfully, indigenously developed cryogenic engine. INSAT 3DR was out in orbit by GSLV F-05, and it carried the INSAT 3DR carried 4 payloads. 1, 2, 3, 4. You may just have a look at this. First one is the multispectral imager. It generates images of Earth from geostationary altitude of 36,000 kilometers, and it will happen every 26 minutes. Clear? This is one of the payloads, please. How many payloads it has carried? Answer is 4. One is the multispectral imager, right? And it will provide information such as sea surface temperature, snow cover, cloud motion winds, etc. Clear? So this is considered to be the weather satellite. Next is the channel sounder. It provides information on vertical profile of temperature, humidity, and integrated ozones. Third one being data relay transponder. It provides service continuity to ISRO's previous meteorological missions. Right? First one is a multispectral imager, channel sounder, data relay transponder. Search and rescue payload. It will pick up and relay alert signals originating from the distress beacons of maritime, aviation, and land-based users to the Indian Mission Control Centers. And here, this. And of course, this point I told you so many times, and this is a very, very important a point with respect to any examination. Okay, look at this. Who is the chairman of ISRO? What is ISRO? You already know this. Indian Space Research Organization, and the chairman is Mr. A.S. Kiran Kumar. And ISRO is also developing another engine, indigenously please, engine C-25, and it will be twice as powerful as the current one. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, right? And of course, there are so many missions that are going to be, this is launched by our ISRO, and hopefully every mission of India and ISRO, it's going to be really successful. And it seems that the news is that, of course, you already know by first half of next year, I think we may be launching Chandrayaan 2. Chandrayaan 1 was launched, right? It was there in the orbit for quite a period of time, and we got so much of information with Chandrayaan 1. Now much developed version Chandrayaan 2 is going to come up. And apart from this, our ISRO is also planning to launch these satellites even into the Venus. Okay, the work is being done. Mars is already done, right? Mom, you must be knowing Mars orbiter mission. And this we are also planning for the so-called the Venus. And this the ISRO has gained the international recognition, and lots of commercial opportunities are also coming to the so-called this ISRO, and it's really doing a wonderful job. Clear. Hats off to ISRO, and hats off to every scientist that is associated with ISRO, right? So in future also, ISRO will be doing so many greater missions successfully, right? And that's all for today. And I wish you all a very happy weekend. And I'll see you again on Monday with some more news. Till then, I wish you all the very best, and take a very good care of yourself. Thank you.